I've got some miscellaneous other clips now. I'm not sure what they are. So I saved them, I queued them up, and you're going to get, I don't have anything planned to say, so we'll see what I say.
And finally, new rule: if you believe in the philosophy of equality of outcomes, then you really shouldn't have watched the Grammys last Sunday. Because the Grammys, aside from the usual award show virtue signaling, are still largely about the idea that certain people do music better than others, and it's okay to reward them for it. That's called meritocracy, and it's the opposite of guaranteed outcomes. Equality of outcomes, as opposed to equality of opportunity. We used to call that by another name, trophy syndrome. A world that was... A world that was created back in the 90s, where every kid gets a trophy, no matter how good or bad they are at something. Well, the result of that kind of thinking is that American kids now have a totally deluded and unearned belief in their charm, brains, and talent. It's not only that the entire generation wants to be famous, it's that they think not being famous isn't fair. If you think I'm exaggerating, let me quote from this article in Rolling Stone magazine last year, lamenting how streaming has not given us equality of outcomes in the music industry. Oh, the Grammys would look quite different if we followed this template. The article tells us that more than 1.6 million artists released songs between January 20...
Okay, do have to stop at copyright issues. And I am drying my eyeliner, if you're wondering what this little, it's like a little bellows. You know how sometimes something is obvious and then you go, aha? When he had said that if you believe in equality of outcome, you shouldn't watch the Grammys, I was like, damn. That's mostly a leftist audience who all parrot this, but here they are. Some people win and some people lose. Contradiction, isn't there? The leftists should give up all that virtue signaling that they do on all these award shows. Award shows are evil, right? It's not equality of outcome, is it? It is a meritocracy. And I found that really funny. And I love Bill Maher. Now, I don't agree with him a lot of the time. But I agree with him on issues like this, and I just find him very amusing. But did you notice how uncomfortable the applause and laughter was from his leftist audience? They knew that they were just hoisted on their own petard.
Famous, it's that they think not being famous isn't fair. If you think I'm exaggerating, let me quote from this article in Rolling Stone magazine last year, lamenting how streaming has not given us equality of outcomes in the music industry. Oh, the Grammys would look quite different if we followed this template. The article tells us that more than 1.6 million artists released songs between January 2019 and July 2020. 40,000 tracks a day on Spotify. And yet, Rolling Stone complains, today's streaming landscape looks a lot like the music industry used to. A small class of artists see not just the majority of activity, but damn near all of it. Yes, these are called the good ones.
Okay, that was delicious, I thought. Now, it is true that sometimes good artists don't get discovered, but generally speaking, yeah, the ones that people are buying are the ones they enjoy. And you can't force people to enjoy things they don't enjoy. Some music, it just sucks, no matter how much you work at it. Life isn't fair, baby. Listen, if life were fair, I'd be able to sing. If you've ever heard me try, you will beg me not to try again. But I enjoy it so much. Tough shit. Next clip.
In the first place. In the second place, I don't know anybody who would ever lie on one of those forms And the fact that you have, clear questions about whether Hunter Biden did lie on those forms raises all kinds of very important questions that obviously need to be answered. But of course, the most appalling part of all of it is the fact that here we are at a time where, as you point out, Joe Biden and Democrats are talking, unlike they've talked ever before, about going after law-abiding gun owners and making it harder for law-abiding gun owners who would never do any of these things to prevent them and to curtail their abilities to protect themselves, protect their families, and to protect their neighbors. But this is just the way apparently the way the Bidens roll, and it's disgusting, and we have to.
Okay, I want to give you some context, and again, I need to stop it for copyright reasons. The context is the whole thing with Hunter Biden's gun, and the fact that he lied on the federal form asking if he had prior drug use. And this guy, I don't know anyone law-abiding gun owners would never lie on those forms. Where's my pearls? Let me clutch them. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You want to know something? It ain't the government's business what you've put on your body, and I'm here to tell you, if you want a gun, lie your ass off on that form. He's so shocked and appalled. You want to know how many law-abiding gun owners have done drugs before? They lie their ass off on that form, and good for them. Fucking Colorado, everyone here has at least smoked pot once. Whether you like it or not, I don't particularly care for it. But for him to go, law-abiding gun owners do not lie on that form. Oh my goodness. Spare my virgin ears from this blasphemy. Ridiculous. And I know I look silly with these things under my eyes for right now, but so I would like to go to comments here for a little bit. Correct. No one can afford to be labeled racist, sexist, or phobic. Right. It's the way to shut someone down by assassinating their character without proof. And I think as libertarians, we ought to view such behavior with disgust. Okay, I'm interested, Kenneth, on how you use the word tampon. Because maybe I can get away with it because I'm a woman, but I kind of use that quite a bit too. I tell men and women to change their tampons quite frequently. And how is that a sexist woman hater? Actually, I think that's quite enlightened. There was a time where men would blush to say the word tampon. That was a dirty word. The fact that it's openly said now in public, I think that's a step forward. Okay, Kenneth, long comment. I'm going to read it. I'm all for unity, but have we forgotten we are the opposition party? I do think most of the Libertarian Party has forgotten that we're the opposition party, that we're the radical revolutionaries. I do think they've forgotten it. I'm not playing ball with places like LPNV. Here's what I'm going to beg you. Don't judge a whole affiliate by a few people. We're all a mixed bag. All of us. And there are some great people in Nevada. But I'm not going to comment too much on that. My position as national secretary, I just don't think it's appropriate. I'll only say generalizations such as there are good and bad people in every affiliate. And please don't judge the many by the few. And he says, and the wokeisms, you know who you are. They definitely do know who they are. Oh, you can't say that? That's radical? Fuck off. Exactly. Yeah, or as Karen Harlow said, you can shove a barbed dildo up your ass. What's funny is how many people got offended by me saying that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I mean, I'm sorry sarcastically. When the government is considering instituting a caste system in this country and telling people that they can't live their lives unless they inject something into their bodies, I'm supposed to be polite about that? No. Just like if I'm about to get raped in an alleyway, I'm not going to say, please, dear sir, will you keep your penis to yourself? I will say, you put that thing close to me again and I'm going to chop the fucker off. If we want to play the pansy PC card, we stop being the opposition party. We do. Our rights are being violated. I'm not nice about that. Okay. When the nap needs to apply to your feelings, we can all just close up shop and go buy tampons. Exactly. That's exactly it. We all, if the nap needs to apply to feelings, every single man needs to grow a vagina and the women need to grow a second one, because that is just absolutely ridiculous. Nap does not apply to your feelings. We used to know this. Sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me. And obviously words can hurt your feelings, but it's what you choose. We need to teach people how to cope better, and not just that. And here's the danger of wokeism. A couple of years ago, I was really big on libertarian accountability, and I still am. But I see cancel culture has warped such a good thing. We do need to police our own, but what is that's considered now, I want nothing to do with. There always needs to be a path to redemption and realize that people are more than their worst act. But we can't seem to do that now. And I was talking with someone who's no longer my friend on Facebook who actually said to me, they have no skeletons in their past I could dig up. Oh, really? I said, it must be nice to be Jesus. I do. Listen, I openly say this. I used to have really shitty opinions about gay people. I changed my mind. You need to allow people the right to do that. People are more than their worst act or their worst words. Jonathan said, I want your opinion on this. I think we put our arguments in moral terms and morally condemn our enemies. I don't believe in condemning people. I do think our argument needs to be in moral terms. Because feelings, you're not going to win that argument because someone will always feel more than you. I don't think we should disparage feelings or ignore them. We are emotional beings, but we can't rely upon them because you will never win that. There's always someone more hysterical. But I don't think we should morally condemn people. I think we should morally condemn actions or ideas, but never condemn people. There are some rare exceptions to that. At the risk of going Godwin, I would consider Hitler an exception to that. But how often does a Hitler come around? Thankfully, not often. So I really think we need to learn the art of condemning ideas and not people. That's also why I say nobody is a libertarian and people get all upset. The reason I say that is that we are more than walking bundles of political or moral philosophy. We're much more complex than that, and we're worth more than that. Ideas are libertarian. People aren't. People are people. They're human beings created in the image of God. I am a religious person. I make no apologies for that. So let's continue now with Mr. I'm so shocked someone would lie on a gun form.
The bottom of it. And I think a big reason why politicians often do this sort of thing, they go for the shiny object and try to come up with new rules that they want to go after, is because it's an admission that they have failed to enforce all of the laws that are currently on the books. And that's usually how bad things wind up happening.
Yeah, good point, Charlie. Congressman, is there any appetite whatsoever on the Hill to investigate this family anymore. I mean, how much is this guy going to get away with? Talking about Hunter. I mean, the accusations here are the stuff of almost legend. Payoffs from Russian oligarchs. I mean, this is the kind of stuff, again, if it involved anyone even close to the Trump orbit, it would be a cosmic scandal from like an Avengers movie. Is there any appetite to investigate here?
Yeah, Dan, and you can see there's already requests being made for this to be investigated. I'm waiting for the Biden Justice Department to investigate. But again, if you replaced the words Biden with Trump, and then you read that article, the Politico article that really goes into detail about the police report, alarming questions all throughout. If that was Trump instead of Biden, every newspaper in the country would be all over it. It would be the lead story on all of the mainstream media outlets, and yet crickets, like everything else. But people are watching this. It's like the double standard you see with so many of these Democrat officials who break the rules. They tell you to live by one set of rules. They're living by another. They're trying to take away your freedoms when they're not even complying. They're trying to take away our gun rights as we speak in Washington, and the president of the United States himself is talking about going nuclear and blowing up the filibuster in the Senate to get gun control and make it harder for you to get a gun. And yet his own son looks like violated multiple laws. Why don't you enforce the laws that are on the books instead of going after people who aren't breaking the laws, like Hurt said?
Yeah. Well, Congressman, thanks. Please follow up on that. I mean, really, America needs accountability here, so we really appreciate it. Charlie, Congressman, thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
Okay. I always find it rich when the conservatives act holier than thou. They're both corrupt. But on this point, they're correct. If that was Barron Trump rather than Hunter Biden, you think all of this would let slide. I was watching Hunter Biden the other day where he was claiming that laptop in Delaware might be mine. I don't know. And I'm like, dude, how many fucking laptops do you have that you can't keep track of them? Go count them. Tell me if one's missing. What do you mean it might be yours? Do you have like 100 laptops that you don't know if it's yours or not? Liar, liar, pants on fire. Wouldn't let Barron Trump get away with that. We shouldn't let Hunter Biden get away with it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, and it's funny the way I watch liberals just dance around that. And again, I'm not picking on the left because, as I said, this guy with his, oh my goodness, lying on a gun form. Okay, Miss Pissy Pants. I don't believe that for a second. You would lie on a gun form too, and I bet you've done drugs. Mr. Purity. Next clip.
Miss Venkataraman, the editor of the Boston Globe's editorial page, asked Dr. Kendi, okay, again, Ibram Kendi, in the same way that Dr. Joe Biden will heal you with a junior college degree, Dr. Kendi, who has no medical degree, or really any degree of any worth in my view, he is going to prescribe racial equity for your heart attack.
Okay. I just wanted to include this clip here because it drives me crazy. I don't know what kind of like hair is up Ben Shapiro's ass that he has to keep harping on Dr. Jill Biden's doctorate. Okay, Ben, we get it that you don't like that word is used for things other than a medical doctor, but reality check, it is. It is. Get over it. Why are you like harping on this? The fact is that people who have earned a doctorate, which is a degree, are doctor. That is just petty as hell, dude. I can't stand it. And he lied. Let's listen to that again. Before I accuse him of lying, I want to make sure I didn't mishear it. Let's try that one more time because it's short.
Miss Venkataraman, the editor of the Boston Globe's editorial page, asked Dr. Kendi, okay, again, Ibram Kendi, in the same way that Dr. Joe Biden will heal you with a junior college degree, Dr. Kendi, who has no medical degree, or really any degree of any worth in my view.
Okay, I didn't mishear it. He at least insinuated that Dr. Jill Biden got her degree from a junior college. No, she didn't. I looked it up. She got it from... Listen, junior colleges don't give doctorates for one thing. But no, Why are you lying, Ben? And speaking of Ben mishandling the truth, I encourage you all to go look at my George Floyd video with Ben. I think the name of the video is Don't Cry for Me, Ben Shapiro. Facts, the facts about George Floyd, don't care about your feelings. Because he got that entirely wrong. And I don't say that, my opinion. I show you documents. And, interestingly, Ben keeps relying upon the fact that that kind of hold by Chauvin was legally allowed by the police department at that time. But you notice what that presupposes and ignores? Just because a type of hold is allowed doesn't mean the way it was executed is allowed. You can execute an allowed thing wrongly. And in fact, that's what just came out in the trial. I think it was the training officer, and usually the blue backs the blue. But he said Chauvin misused that hold. So I'm wondering what Ben's going to have to say about that. George Floyd was murdered. Maybe not technically under whatever laws are, you know, as far as like first-degree murder. I'm talking morally. But he was murdered in the streets as far as I'm concerned. He did not. And you know what? No. I wish I had this clip. Let me fix this here. I screwed up one of my eyes. Ben Shapiro said he died of a pre-existing heart condition. No, he didn't. He didn't have a pre-existing heart condition that killed him. Ben's confused by the fact that the autopsy says cardiopulmonary arrest. That's not a heart attack. That's when your breathing fails. A heart attack is a myocardial infarction or infarction. And he says, well, there was no marks on him. Because you can, when you press down on somebody, not on one point, but like diffusely, it doesn't leave marks. Oh my God, I get so mad about this.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want